You're listening to the Substation Gaming Podcast. I'm Lucas. With me I have Black Chestnut.
Hello.
And Ricola.
Yo.
Today we're going to be discussing all the gaming releases, events, and news so far this year. So let's get right into it with the first topic, the Nintendo Direct. The first thing they showed off in it is the new Smash character, Pyra and Mythra.
And yeah, I have not played them yet.
Yeah, I haven't gotten around to playing Smash since Sephiroth came out.
Well, you're not missing anything. They're busted as per usual with a new character in a Smash game. Everybody who plays them online is just abusing the fact that they are just busted right now. They have counterplay, but like you don't even need to be good at them. So like it's a free Elite Smash. It's a free Elite Smash contender for a character right now. And it's just not fun.
Who cares about Elite Smash?
The only thing I really heard about them is that they do tons of damage. The fact that you got one really fast character and one character that can just do like kill you at like 50%. With the only downside being that their recovery is shit.
It's almost as bad as Hero with the whole snooze and thwack move, where you just fucking kill them at like...
Hey, those are legendary.
Yeah, that shit's RNG. You just gotta get lucky. Just like in old school JRPGs. You just gotta get lucky.
Right. So, we're just gonna leave that fighting game to RNG now.
Yeah. You gotta believe in the heart of the cards. Or the heart of the RPG menu.
Right. Alright, the next one they release is the Famicom Detective Club.
Yeah, it's a remake of, obviously a Famicom game, better known as the NES. That's, first release I think it's seen since the 80s, which is really neat, and full-on remake. Voice acting, some pretty great-looking art, like, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's super cool that they're doing this.
How much are they going to release this game for?
$40 each.
$40?
2 games.
2 games? Oh, okay. Right. Is this almost like a... Oh, what's it? What's that game? Phoenix Wright? Is it like that?
Yeah, probably a bit less interaction, maybe.
Oh, okay. And is it the same, like, concept of it? Like, you're an attorney, or is it a whole different...
No, it's not. Detective.
Yeah.
So, you're a detective?
You're a detective in a high school.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a detective club.
Right,
I think one of the 2 games has some supernatural stuff going on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the other one's more crime.
That's pretty interesting. Alright, Samurai Warriors 5. Can't go wrong with a straight up... What is this genre again?
It's a Muso.
Muso... Just a Muso?
Yeah. It's usually what it's referred to as. I like Samurai Warriors usually more than Dynasty Warriors. Even though they're basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah,
It'll probably
sometimes you gotta have the boom god in your game.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be the same way if I had tried Samurai Warriors, because I've only played Dynasty Warriors, but...
They're functionally identical, the only difference is the cast.
Right, that's... Which sometimes the cast can make a big difference. Like, I mean, some people may not like Samurai Warriors, but may have liked Age of Calamity, for instance, because of the cast.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
But... I mean, I would be down to buy this game. What is it coming out on? Oh, it's coming out on all consoles. Okay. Yeah, this would definitely be a game I'd get on my Switch.
Sweet, I'll buy it on my Ouya.
I don't think it's coming out on an Ouya.
I'm so immeasurably disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Pouring out the Ouya, not getting Samurai Warriors 5.
That'd be something. Who made the Ouya? Just quick.
I don't know.
Just a quick thing.
Some guy.
Kickstarter. It was kickstarted.
Anyways, moving on. Legend of Mana.
Legend of Mana.
This is
it a remaster? It's just a remaster, right?
Yeah, this is a remaster or remake.
I think it's in the vein of their Final Fantasy ports, where it's like they're probably gonna add some quality of life stuff.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
but mostly going to be the same game.
Isn't it getting like a visual like upgrade too?
I think just like a resolution one from what I saw.
Yeah, I
Right,
don't think
okay.
it's getting its graphics drastically overhauled.
Which is fine, because the original art looks good.
Yeah. Square's been showing a lot of love to the Mana series recently.
Yeah. Jeez, how many remakes have we gotten now?
Yeah, we got a Secrets of Mana remake, which was, it was meh. I heard. I didn't play it.
Yeah.
But they did remake Trials of Mana as well, and that one was a lot better.
See, I always would like looking at these games because they look visually appealing, but I could never get into them for some reason.
The Mana games, or just
just in general, like games that look like the Mana games, like just the
The
visual, just the
RPGs?
art style of it. I don't know. Maybe that's just
So wait,
me.
you're saying the visuals are good, but you can't get into it or something?
Yeah, it's just I don't. It's not that I can't get into it. It's just like maybe I just more or less don't have the time, or there's other
I'm
games I'd rather
vibing
play.
with it.
Yeah, I do wonder if they're planning on like fully reviving the series with like a new entry though.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
That would be neat. Maybe even like it would be nice or kind of out of nowhere, but like maybe Nintendo like a Switch exclusive or something.
Might be.
That would be pretty
Good,
cool.
good.
I don't know.
They probably wouldn't make it a Switch exclusive. They probably want to put it on everything.
I mean,
But I
it-
imagine it also would kind of probably be a budget release, like the Trials of Mana remake was.
True.
Where
Square's not completely exposed to exclusives. I mean, Final Fantasy VII Remake was PS4.
that's true. They're usually exclusives when they have like a reason to.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. Moving on to the next.
we gotta play the Mana games because I think half of them are co-op.
Yeah. Moving on to the next game, Mario Golf. What was the subtitle
looked-
for it? I forgot. Yeah, Mario Golf Super Rush.
It's
'Cause
pretty.
you're rushing to hit the ball.
And then you gotta rush to the next spot or wherever you
It
hit.
looks awesome.
Yeah. It
Can't
does
wait.
look cool.
For Waluigi's stupid legs to run Sonic speed.
I've always liked the good old Wii Sports-esque game on Nintendo's side of things.
Yeah.
They've always seemed
Didn't
to
Square Enix do a lot of their sports games for a while?
They made like a few. I know they made Mario Hoops. I don't know if they
Yeah.
did. It's usually like
Weird.
they always like get other people to do them for them, but yeah.
Yeah, Camelot Software Planning is developing this game and Nintendo's
Oh yeah,
publishing it.
Camelot makes like all the Mario sports games pretty much.
Which I think they do a great
Cool.
job. Just,
Yeah,
I mean,
they're a pretty good developer.
never been a first go-to game of mine, but you can't go wrong with a game like that.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I remember there was the motion with the whole Joy-Con. I like that feature. Kind of almost bringing back the whole Wii remote type deal.
Mhm.
But I just thought that was a cool
I
little
could vibe
feature
with it.
that they like
Yeah.
just showed off in
They
the
had in
trailer.
there gyro.
Gyro
controls.
mechanics, yeah.
Nice.
Motion controls.
Motion controls. No joystick connected to a giant remote that looks like it could be your TV remote.
I think that was on purpose.
I mean, those things were really durable.
Yeah.
You ever try to break a Wii remote? I bet you could break a person's skeleton with one.
It's almost as hard as trying to break a DS.
I've broken a DS before.
Yeah. You just gotta drop it right.
Alright, moving on to the next game, No More Heroes 3.
Yeah. It's looking good.
I want to play No More Heroes real bad, but I gotta play the rest of the Kill the Past series because I'm crazy.
Oh, this is the other hack and slash game that they showed some peeks at.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna get this game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
Have you
remember.
played 1 and 2?
No, I have not. Maybe that'll be something I have to do.
Yeah. They're both on the Switch. They re-released
Oh, yeah.
them recently.
Just pretty recently.
Oh, it's saying this is the 4th installment. Is it? Is there?
Technically, it's the 4th because there was like
There's
spin-off
Killers.
games they
Yeah, it's
released.
Travis Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And if you
Ah.
consider as part of like the Kill the Past series, it's like the 8th or 9th installment.
Yeah.
Because Suda's insane.
Yeah, if you want to count all of the stuff.
Oh yeah, I
All,
see, I
all
see
stuff's
that.
in the
here.
same universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's No More
And
Heroes.
it's like an ongoing plot.
No More Heroes. Heroes Paradise.
Like Killer 7's in the same series, like plot-wise.
Yeah. Heroes Paradise was just, I think, a re-release of the first game.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. And then there's No More Heroes 2.
Then Travis Strikes Back.
Desperate Struggle,
Yeah.
and then Travis Strikes Again. No More Heroes, yeah.
Yeah.
That came out only 2 years ago? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Hotline
just
Miami inspired.
Yeah, it was just a top-down.
Oh, that
Kinda
game was
done
fun.
for color.
Hotline Miami. Oh, don't even get me started. That'll be a different
Yeah.
discussion for a different podcast.
I hear a lot of people saying about No More Heroes 3 that it looks kind of ugly. I don't really agree. I think
I like that style.
I don't agree at all.
I didn't expect this to be the biggest budget thing ever.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's like it's a Switch exclusive. It's higher.
You can't put a 4K.
You know,
you
it's
can't
like you need to make sure it runs at a good frame rate. So
I'd rather have.
I think it looks fine.
Yeah, I'd rather have a well optimized 720 and then or 1080 and then docked 720 game than an
frame
upscaled.
rate is more important than
Yeah.
resolution.
Well,
Pretty
frame
much.
rate. Yeah, the optimization of the game itself.
Mhm.
Which, and honestly, like you guys said with the whole budget thing, like I think the art style looks great for the budget that
Yeah.
they probably have for this game. Which obviously we don't know that.
It's been good at using like cheap tech. Like I mean, like look at Killer 7. That game's so stylized you wouldn't even be able to tell it's a GameCube game.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Neon White. Isn't that this game where you fight
Yeah, you fight demons
Use
with the
cards.
cards? With the cards.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this game looks
It's
so
It looks like one of the fastest paced shooters I've seen since Lovely Planet.
right.
Yeah.
This game
It's
looks
one of
so
those
sick when
where
they first showed the
It
trailer
kind
for
of
this.
prioritizes your movement over
Yeah.
everything else, pretty much.
I like
So
the,
yeah, it looks really neat. At least based on the gameplay, man. I can't really speak for how it actually
Everything
plays.
else, yeah.
yeah, for all we know it can play like crap.
Yeah.
I like the whole card concept though. It's like you almost have to
Yeah, the art style's real nice too.
Yeah.
You gotta pick stuff up and then use it fast.
Who is developing this game? Ben Esposito. Is that a person?
Probably.
Is this a person?
Wasn't it the Donut County devs? Or is
Yeah,
that-
yeah. It was, yeah.
Oh,
it was
right,
the
right,
Donut
right.
County devs. So,
And then Annapurna Interactive is publishing the game.
You know.
Oh, and I don't think they showed this before, but ESRB rating may contain inappropriate for children.
yeah.
Oh my.
Oh no, guys! I don't know if we
get
can play
that
this
from,
game.
First-person shooter.
All right, what do we got next? Metopia, right.
Yeah.
The original Utopia is wonderful, so I'm happy
Yeah.
to see a port, although it's probably going to be expensive for what it is.
Yeah. Wasn't it gonna be like $50?
Yep, $50 on Amazon, GameStop, and Target as of right now.
Yeah. It's kind of too much for it, honestly. Considering you can buy the original right now on, like, the 3DS eShop for $40.
I think I'll probably buy it if it goes on sale for 40 ever. I'd buy it then.
As someone who played the original and really liked it, but I came away with a few, like, problems with it in the overall gameplay department,
Right.
I can say that I would potentially consider double dipping if the price was right and they fixed those gameplay problems, which were namely that you didn't have enough control over your party's actions in combat. You could only control the first party member. And even in the late game, if you removed them from your party, then you just had no control over your party at all. And it's just like,
So funny you
the
can
game just plays itself. And it's just like, the game's already super easy. I don't know why they couldn't just let me have the option to
Yeah.
let me play the goddamn game. It's like I'm
Like,
enjoying this game. I would like
Persona
to actually
3
play it.
Tomodachi Life spin-offs.
Yeah, and it's like there's enough random like RNG stuff in the game to begin with. That
Yeah.
At
like,
least, yeah, at
should
least,
just let me control my goddamn characters.
yeah, let me control the party at least.
Let me just do the attacks I want to do.
I mean, if they add more to the game, I would consider buying
They
it.
are adding new content, like they're adding extra hairstyles, and there's a horse now.
Yeah, but like more than that, because that's just cosmetics and amount. Like that doesn't seem like.
That's the whole game. It's like Tomodachi Life, where the fun comes from seeing your Miis do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. That's a good point. I mean, I don't like. For me, I wouldn't pay $50. Like going back to what Chestnut is saying. If the price is right,
Okay.
I'd consider
A
buying
solid
it.
40 for it. Like the original.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
just thinking about it, if you go to Target and buy it, it's not gonna be $50. It's gonna be like $54, which is more
Yeah.
money. But
It's one of those things where it's kind of like the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze situation, where it's like they just charge an extra $10
Is
for
Funky
it.
really worth $20?
all right, moving on. We got a good one, Project Triangle Strategy.
Yes.
Not a
terrible title.
Yeah, not the best name, but
Terrible
you know the game looks
title.
very promising.
I mean, this game studio, they make great games. They cannot give them names.
Bravely Default is a genuinely awful title the more I think about it, but you know, it's just
Is
like it's so ingrained in my mind at this point I don't even think about it.
Yeah. I mean, the game they made before that was like what, Final Fantasy: The Four Heroes of Light.
That's
It's
just
just
generic.
Yeah, it's like we're a Final Fantasy spin-off that plays like actual Final Fantasy. As opposed to all the new Final Fantasy games that don't actually play like Final Fantasy games.
Right. I feel like just the
Yeah.
like the
We're
fact
actually going to Project Triangle Strategy. Does look really interesting. It's, obviously same art style as Octopath Traveler.
I feel like
but
they've
instead
perfected it a bit
it's-
since Octopath.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely looks better than it did in Octopath, and it's no longer a traditional JRPG. It is now a tactical RPG.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was about to say. Like what the biggest thing that stood out to me right off the bat with the gameplay, or if that's the gameplay that they showed off in the trailer, was
Oh, it's the gameplay.
yeah, that art style, like it just really stood out to me, like all the like even just like the fire effect and the 2D 3D art style that they're going with, similar to Octopath. It just
that
really
Bloom and FOV, man. Or not FOV.
Yeah.
Whatever. Bloom and other.
It's basically, it really does ask the question of, what if we just made another Final Fantasy Tactics games, but we didn't call it Final Fantasy Tactics?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, it probably won't have the same job system that Tactics did, but yeah.
Yeah, you can go play Disgaea if you want crazy job systems.
Sure.
I do remember reading like a lot of the bigger problems with Octopath that people were complaining about, that they're hoping Project Triangle Strategy is going to be better at, is this just like the storyline kind of being disjointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem with Octopath Traveler was really just because I played it and I didn't finish it because I kind of just lost interest, and that was namely because the story was so disjointed. I just couldn't care about anything that was actually happening. It's like there's 8 protagonists and they all have completely different plots, and half of them are like completely vapid. It's just like, I'm gonna travel the world and sell shit. And then there's like, and that was it. And another guy's like, I'm gonna travel the world.
Demo that I played were
and
pretty
kill
strong.
random sick people, and it's like, okay, sure.
You got
But then, like, you got
Jesus.
other ones who are like, I am going to track down and murder the 3 men who murdered my father. And it's like,
That's a dancer, right? Because I remember playing
Yes,
the demo.
that was the
story
dancers.
I was like, oh, this is
fun.
interesting. It's like all the other are like,
And
this
it's
is
like
really
there's
cool.
such like big like jumps in terms of like plot intensity between and which don't have any control, all determined by the player when they feel like doing them. So it's like you can go from one where it's just like I'm trying to, I don't know, just win this random arena tournament that is completely pointless to I am like going to sneak into this brothel to murder this guy who owns it.
Yeah.
Oh
And
Lord.
it's like okay.
This almost makes you want to play Octopath just to
I
do
mean, it's
that.
not bad. It's just
It's just
like
like
the
whiplash.
combat was really good. But I just like honestly, I feel like it had too many party members, and the job system was okay, but it was wasn't really fully there. I feel like.
So, all in all, Octopath was hitting on every mark except for kind of the storyline and minor details. And hopefully,
Yeah.
Project Triangle Strategy can take that art
Yeah.
style, amplify it, and hopefully
I
get
think
better on the
Project
story.
Triangle Strategy is gonna be a lot better, simply because the plot is not going to be super disjointed.
Yeah, constrained by having the gimmick of 8 protagonists.
All right, well,
Yeah.
moving on.
Yeah, because like that was the big problem with Octopath Traveler is like there's 8 protagonists, they barely interact, they have no reason to all be together, and yet they are for no
Yeah.
reason.
I mean,
Yeah.
that is kind of a cool little, like,
It's a cool gimmick, but a cool gimmick can't carry a massive RPG.
true.
Yeah.
That's fair.
You get
I mean,
bored of that
I
after
think
a
I
while.
played it for like 40 to 60 hours, and then I got bored.
Wow, that's a good amount of time.
I don't even remember exactly, but I mean, I could just look it up on my Switch. But yeah.
All right, moving on. What do we got next? Oh, my favorite game released in this whole Nintendo Direct, Knockout City. Don't even at me. This game is about to be sick.
I'm gonna get like 5 out of 10 for my GM. But just...
No, it's not.
I think it'll be fine, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna release and everyone's gonna forget about it in a week, and then it's just gonna be like a dead game.
The
I don't
only
know.
way
I
that would
understand
happen.
how awesome a dodgeball game could be, but I don't know if this is it.
No, this is it, Zach. That's the thing. This is it.
I think it will be fun. I just feel like it's gonna have a really hard time finding an audience.
And I'm just angry about that trailer because if it was Dodgeball Smash Bros, I'd be much happier.
I mean,
Yeah, that trailer was really confusing.
it was at first. I'll give you that. But it's still sick.
I just remember that trailer and being like, I saw the EA logo and my heart immediately sank to the bottom of my feet. And then I watched the rest of the trailer and I just thought, what the fuck is this?
Hey, I was jumping in my seat the entire time. This game looks sick.
Yeah. You got one person who's gonna buy it.
Yeah, you're definitely
Greg,
getting
you
my
are
sale.
possibly the biggest fan in the world of this game.
Hey,
Yeah.
it looks sick.
I don't want to hate it because like
Oh yeah.
I think the developers are actually cool because it's
Oh yeah.
studio. They're located in upstate New York.
Right, which is also
Yeah.
kind of cool because it's kind of close to
Yeah.
us.
And it's like I wish them the best. Like I hope that this game is successful just for their sake. You know, even if I never touch it, I don't, want it to fail.
Yeah, you don't necessarily wish
I don't
bad ill
really
upon
want
the
the
game.
Yeah. I'm a
Um,
well wisher. I wish them well in all their.
Side note, it is
travels.
being developed on Viper Engine. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that either.
So that'll be interesting to see. Maybe
Oh, this is our first game on this direct that's probably not in Unreal 4.
right.
Wow.
No,
I mean, Legends of Mana was probably not an Unreal 4, considering that engine didn't exist when it came out.
yeah. Maybe we might see more games if this game does kick off and like it's good and it plays well. Hopefully we'll see more games on this engine.
Well,
Yeah.
if the engine's
I
any
mean,
good, I don't know anything
I
about
don't
it.
even
So
know. Yeah,
I'm not
who
gonna
knows
give
about
up
the
on it.
engine? I don't know.
I mean-
I'm assuming it's a proprietary engine, right?
Let me just look up real quick. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, we can cut out the Rudy lookup stuff. You're editing this, right, Sam?
Yeah, I can edit. This
Alright, so if
Viper
Sam
engine.
accidentally says the N word, we can edit it out.
I can't find anything.
Edit that out,
Yeah.
Sam.
All right,
Yeah. Okay.
moving on. We got World's End Club.
Oh, I'm very excited for this.
Yes, this looks quite cool.
Yeah. You go.
No, you can go.
Okay. But yeah, so lead writers of Danganronpa and Zero Escape kind of just made a studio together, and so it looked like they were just gonna make like a standard Danganronpa style death game, but then the trailer released, and in the game the death game is canceled, and now it's just a road trip game. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool
I know
concept.
you're a big fan of Zero Escape.
Oh, I love Zero Escape, and I've played a few other games that the writer's done.
Yeah.
Beat Remember 11 pretty recently, and yeah, all his stuff is nuts and very twisty, so I'm excited.
Yeah. It's also got like the Pokemon character designer on
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
you can
right.
tell.
You can tell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of surreal.
Honestly, not gonna
Yeah.
lie, that was the first thing I took away from this without you guys even saying that. Like when they showed this trailer, I was like, "Is that Pokemon?"
Yeah.
But see,
Yeah. I'm not usually a big fan of death game type stories, so the fact that it's a Jape death game is actually kind of interesting.
Which, to be
And-
fair, Zero
yeah.
Escape has pulled that twist before a bit, but at the same time, this is a completely different level of just it becoming
it
a
really
road trip.
debates you. It really is just a big bait and switch.
I mean, it's a cool concept. Don't get me wrong. Like you're on a road trip. Like
Fraught of Japan that's seemingly gone completely deserted.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I'm curious what's going on. Are
Yeah.
they time travel?
That's why it's called
Probably.
World's End Club, because they're a club of people traveling in the World's End or whatever. Yeah.
so, like when a game is said fully voiced, does that mean like they have actual voice actors for it?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. This
It's
game.
not
Yeah, they're called
robots
Zero
voicing
Zero
this game.
Well, it's gonna be. It's,
Zero Escape had full voice acting.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
full 3D animation and full voice acting. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah, they got that Danganronpa V3 cash. That game made bank.
Yeah. Man, imagine if Pokemon could get voice acting along with having the Pokemon character designer.
You know, Pokemon voice acting is like Zelda voice acting. It's something I don't want to. Oh wait, Zelda got voice acting in the last game.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
See, that's something like so ingrained in my brain is weird.
No, it's like I'm looking at like the new Pokemon games, and none of them have voice acting, and I just sit there thinking you already have an entire voice cast for all of these characters because they're all in the fucking anime, and the
Yeah.
anime is fully voiced in every single fucking language. So
That's true.
there's no excuse that you couldn't just use them for the games.
That might just be more. I honestly don't think it's bad. I don't think Pokemon would benefit too much from.
I think it
from
would, considering it's a kids game, and there's a bunch of kids who
True.
probably can't read very well who would be playing these games, and it would
That's
help
true. That's
them.
true.
I know for a fact that when I was really young and I played video games, games that had full voice acting were substantially easier for me to understand what was going on in comparison to the ones that were fully text.
Yeah,
That's true.
Barely follow the plot.
especially ones that would just skip the text for you after a second, so you couldn't read it that fast. Like you'd have to read fast.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It's
No,
trial by
I just
fire.
remember playing the older Pokemon games, like, and getting stuck in places just because, like, I couldn't figure out.
Yeah, my
What to do.
brother played Pokemon White before he could actually read.
Yeah.
I remember when Black and White came out. Those games were pretty good.
I mean, I remember playing, like, Soul Silver and getting stuck in the one, like, ice cave because I couldn't figure out that strength was a move that existed.
Yeah.
And I know that might sound stupid, but, like, the guy in the cave gives you Waterfall. And so I just assumed that's what I needed, despite the fact that I couldn't even use it yet, because I needed to beat the next gym in order to use it.
Okay, you want to hear something even like more stupid on my part? Playing Sapphire, right, on the Game Boy.
Right.
The first, the area where you can find Whismer, and there was rocks. I didn't know that I had to use
Rock
the
Smash?
HM. No, Rock Tomb.
Rock Tomb. What? I thought it was Rock Smash.
No, isn't Rock... Is it Rock Smash? I thought it was Rock Tomb. That
Rock
was...
Smash is the one that breaks the rocks. Rock's Tomb is a different move that
Okay.
just slows the enemy.
Well, Rock Smash,
hit
I didn't know that I had to get that move, and I was just stuck in that game, the same beginning area for like...
See, this is why HMs are fucking stupid. Because, like, if you don't find the NPC that gives them to you, or you just forgot about it, and then it's stuck in your inventory, and you don't
See,
think to
I
look
think
through it.
HMs were probably a cool gimmick back in whatever the first Pokemon game came out, but they probably should have been cut from the formula pretty early on.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I'm worried about, not to jump ahead too much, but the Diamond and Pearl remakes, because that game had way too many HMs,
yeah.
and I doubt they're going to cut any of them.
I mean, we only can hope.
Yeah.
We can discuss that when we get to it.
Right.
Let's move on from Pokemon.
Alright, moving on. Ninja Gaiden. Is this a master collection or a remake for like getting ported to the Switch?
It's like the same game, but probably HD upscaled, you know.
Yeah. It's just a remastered collection.
Of the 3 games, which I'm excited for. It looks like Devil May Cry, but even gorier and harder, so yay.
That's exactly what they are.
Hooray!
I know everybody loves the first 2, and then the third one isn't as good.
Okay.
Yeah, I played the second Ninja Gaiden on PS3, I think it was.
Yeah.
And that was fun. That was fun. I remember playing it because I was like, Dad, I want to play a ninja game. And it's like, he's like, I got...
I got you, Dad. Dang, I gotta play... The only ninja game I had as a kid was Lego Ninjago Battle. I had to grow up with the Lego RTS, while you got the cool violent ninja game.
I also had GTA, so just be happy you didn't have GTA. And Black Ops 2 on my Xbox.
Yeah.
Hey, I did have Final Fantasy 13 though. Still the best Final Fantasy. Anyways.
Have you played any other Final Fantasy besides 13?
No, I have not. I need to. I know. And I said that as a meme.
I was like,
I've been playing through Final Fantasy 1 right now.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I just killed the Dark Elf King.
Huh.
Yeah. The mini bosses in this game are harder than the actual bosses.
Yeah. Well, the actual bosses, they want you to win. You know, they want you to feel cool. They want to murder you before the bosses, so you're not disappointed.
Imagine if that's how Dark Souls was. Like all the mini bosses, like
all the regular enemies are tougher than the bosses.
Yeah, right. Which, in a sense,
that'd be thematically awesome in Dark Souls, though. So
I mean, in a sense, if you just suck
there's a few bosses that are like that.
like Vort of the Boreal Valley.
Yo, like getting into Pinwheel's boss room is harder than the actual boss.
I'm not sure if it was a joke boss or badly designed.
Okay, but no, seriously, Bort of the Boreal Valley was definitely easier than those knights outside of his spawn.
Yeah, to be fair, those knights are literally endgame enemies.
Right.
They're just put in the first area to dick with you.
So, like...
That's a lot of Dark Souls, anyway. But anyway.
Alright, moving on. They didn't... Age of Calamity DLC? They didn't really show anything, they just said it was coming.
Yeah, there was like a link that they showed for a whole 5 seconds with some of the stuff that's gonna be in it. Like a new weapon for Link and like a few new playable characters and new missions, and I think that was about it.
They're gonna finally give Link a gun?
No, it's probably gonna be something stupid like
his boomerang. His boomerang.
Yeah, they're gonna give him the boomerang.
Yo, the wind boomerang is back.
No, it's gonna be one of the bladed boomerangs from Breath of the Wild.
It's gonna be a Liesel boomerang.
To be fair, the boomerang in Breath of the Wild was probably the coolest boomerang in the entire series, honestly.
I can agree with that.
No, I never thought I'd missed a wind boomerang. But, you know, I miss it these days. Just like Ganondorf's stupid hair curls from Twilight Princess.
Yeah, I feel like the whole just quick touching on Breath of the Wild. I feel like if you played it how the game was supposed to be played, getting all the 4 divine beasts, I just feel like they made the final boss a little too easy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I like made sure to 100%.
Do you really think it was made to be played
for like the Korok?
to get every shrine?
I got every shrine and did all the divine
I
beasts
don't
before
think they
fought.
expect the majority of players to go out of their way to find every shrine, though.
I mean, I had to look up the last like 4 or 5, but yeah.
Okay, I'm just glad Age of Calamity is getting a DLC because going back to the Samurai Warriors, I just love that they have a Zelda hack and slash now.
Yeah. I know
Well, there
you
was a Hyrule
really
Warrior.
were
You never
enjoying.
played that.
Oh right! Oh my
Yeah, Switch.
god! I completely
Yeah.
forgot about Hyrule Warriors. Oh my goodness.
Like 2 games,
How
isn't it?
embarrassing.
That is embarrassing. And I
And it
remember
was,
playing that
Fire
with
Emblem one as well.
I remember playing that
Yeah.
at your house, Ricola, on the Wii U. That game was
No,
fun.
Wii U was new and epic.
Yep, and now it's just nothing.
Waiting for the new real Zelda game to come out.
Moving on, the Saga Frontier Remastered release.
Yeah, they showed off a trailer for it.
I haven't really heard of this before it was this remaster was announced, to be honest, but looks like a pretty cool
Yeah.
JRPG, so I'm excited.
Yeah. I was always, somewhat aware of the Saga series. Like, I knew it existed, but I haven't played any of the games.
Yeah.
Originally, it was like the Final Fantasy Legends series back on the Game Boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah,
Is it
I think it
something or
evolved
something?
into this.
But interestingly, the Saga Frontier looks like it has like Octopath Traveler's gimmick where it's multiple protagonists.
Yeah. But I think that's like each one is contained in their own separate story that you play through individually.
Yeah.
And you don't they don't just interconjoin themselves with each other to make like a full party. Instead, you just collect, I think, random NPCs off the street and you make them your party members instead.
Oh,
They're,
that's
randomly
cool. That's
generated.
cool.
Yeah.
So like Chrono Cross.
Yeah,
thing?
kind of like Chrono Cross.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty
I
sure
love the art,
Saga
honestly.
Frontier is like one of the more well-regarded ones. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
The
love
really
the art
cool.
style.
Yeah, the cool thing about this remaster in particular is that they used AI upscaling in order to improve all the backgrounds and also sprites just in general.
Which is neato.
Yeah, it looks really, really great for the backgrounds. I kind of feel like it doesn't really look necessarily great with the character sprites themselves. That was also just kind of how they looked in the original.
Yeah, like it was less of a problem when you're playing on like a 640 resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the
nothing
backgrounds do look fantastic, so.
nothing really looks good on 640.
Yeah.
Except for pre-rendered backgrounds, which did look nice, but
But this is a cool re-release. I think it's coming
Yeah.
out like really soon. Maybe it already came
Yeah,
out.
pretty. Yeah. I'm interested. Just for other RPGs I want to get through before I get around to another one, but I'll check it out. I'll go on backlog.
Definitely
Yeah.
going on the wish list.
Yeah. I might. There's so many JRPGs on my backlog though. It's like I'm playing through
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 1 right now because I just beat Bravely Default 2.
Oh, you beat it?
Yes.
Nice.
I'll talk about that later in the show.
All right. All right, moving on. Skyward Sword HD.
Yeah.
I would be so excited for this if it wasn't $60.
Yeah. It's really overpriced.
Another game that's overpriced compared to the original.
Yeah. I mean, like, especially when you compare it to the original, because I remember getting the original release for, like, Christmas, and it came, like, with the full set that came with a Wii remote. Like, I got that shit for $60 with a Wii remote, back when it came out.
Right.
Yeah, it was a fancy remote.
Yeah.
It was, like, Zelda themed, it was and had, like, Motion Plus in it. Yeah. I had to get that because I didn't have any Wii Motion Plus stuff.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that was a cool little addition to the game if people actually bought it, because like a lot of people didn't have Motion Plus things.
Yeah, unless you bought Wii Sports Resort, they were expensive on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Getting it. Sword. But yeah, the cool thing about the Skyward Sword HD, though, ironically, is that you no longer need to play it with motion controls, even though the entire game was designed around the motion controls.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, you get the option now, right, to play it with motion controls or.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't specify whether you could actually do it like however you wanted, or if it was like handheld play only. But you control the sword now with like the joystick.
The right joystick.
Yeah.
Which it's gonna be kind of interesting how they're gonna like. I mean, it's not interesting. Like,
I mean,
I'll probably
it would
just-
probably make the game more
The
accurate.
funnest thing about the game, to be honest, though, is the motion sword fighting. Like, it feels really good in some of the fights. Like, the Girahim fights are really fun.
I always found those fights extremely frustrating and annoying. I am a big
Well, clearly, you're
Skyward
not a
Sword.
sword
hater.
fight master.
Yeah, clearly. Considering no, I'm gonna actually disagree on that. I am 100% a sword fight master.
Oh, okay. To be honest, I never really disliked the motion control gimmick Skyward Sword. I just never really hated motion controls in general. No, a lot of people do.
I never really liked them. And I never felt great for me, and it felt like every combat scenario was both extremely samey and not fun. Because I would just try to attack the enemy, and then my sword would just swing in a way I didn't want it to, and then I'd get stunned, and then I'd get hit.
What did they call that? Jiggle something?
I don't know.
What?
Jiggle is like when your sword, like with the motion controls, like it would just like be wonky.
Rumble?
It would be wonky at times.
Not precise. I don't know what you're trying to say here.
I have no clue what jiggle is.
Okay, just.
I don't want to cut that. That's a good. That's that because I want to try to figure that out. If we get views, someone in the comments will know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that in.
Okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Jiggle. I only think of like jiggle physics, like.
Yeah.
Maybe it was jiggle physics, and I just don't know how to word it.
You're thinking about boobs.
No.
You horny.
No. Let's just move on.
There was no jigger physics in Skyward Sword.
Well, there might have been like that one.
Maybe with Link's hat.
Oh yeah, there was definitely there. Goose's hair.
Oh yeah. There was that one side quest where you rolled into the chandelier or whatever to knock it down. You didn't roll into the chandelier, but you rolled into the building to knock down a chandelier to get a heart piece, and then they enslaved you in order to pay it back.
Yeah, you played yourself.
Sword is sick. See, you're just making this game sound even awesomer.
More
okay,
awesome.
but for real though, the actual problem with Skyward Sword, the overworld having 2 islands in it.
Oh
Like-
yeah, it is like barren.
The sky is
man.
so fucking barren. Like
Which
it's like
sucks.
what if
I
you
love
took-
like the feeling of flying through it. So cool, and it's like the visuals
Honestly,
are really
no.
nice.
I
for
just
the
feel like
movie.
it takes forever to get from place to place. That like really doesn't need to be there. Like
It
people
takes
complain
forever
about
because they
Hyrule
didn't have
Field
anything. It would be a bit faster
in
if they had
Ocarina of
more.
Time, but it's just like it is so pointless in Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
There's just so much barren nothingness in that sky. Where it's like, at least with Wind Waker's ocean, it's massive and there's an island on every tile and there's shit to do everywhere, basically, in that ocean.
But then like Skyloft as like a counterpoint was really detailed. Like
Yes, Skyloft, because they put everything in the Skyloft and then they're like, what are we going to do for the other islands? It's like, okay, we'll have one be like a pumpkin farm or something. It's like a bar. And it's like, okay, what about the rest of them? I was like, well, how about this clown minigame? It's like,
if
anything
we
else?
have like
well, maybe
one
we'll have
boss
like
there.
one small island where Beetle puts his ship, and it's like, okay, and it's like, anything else? And then they're like, and then they just ran out of fucking ideas.
They had some dark clouds towards the end of the game where you fight a boss. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Definitely not something I'm gonna pick. I'm not picking up Skyward
I'll
Sword.
I'm not picking it up for $60, but Nintendo games don't always go on sale. But if they do, Maybe.
At least it's not a limited release.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to the final announcement of the Nintendo Direct. Splatoon 3.
Ooh.
This is
Sweet.
like
Yes.
easily the best announcement in this entire Direct.
No, man, it's Knockout City.
Nah. Knockout City's got nothing on Splatoon 3. This was the one more thing, and I was not expecting this at all. Like, Splatoon 3 was the thing going into this Direct that I thought was, like, a for sure not happening, but if it did happen, it would be the hypest shit ever. And it was the hypest shit ever.
I mean, it was kind of epic of a trailer.
It was so
Yeah, we
fun.
get to see France destroyed.
Yeah. Nobody likes France.
And they had...
The desert setting's really neat, honestly.
Yeah, it's Wasteland. The Splatlands. Which is really funny when you think about it, because Splat is like the Splatoon universe's world for kill. So it's literally called the Kill Lands.
And I will be immeasurably happy if we get to see Pearl back leading like a Mad Max biker gang. That is exactly what I want from this game.
You know, that's probably going to happen. Yeah. But speaking of stuff that they didn't show off in the Direct for Splatoon 3, the trailer, like, they didn't show off the idols yet, obviously. They usually wait on that. But I'm really hoping that it's going to be like a Battle of the Bands type scenario, where we're not going to get like, one definitive idol group. Instead, we're going to get multiple bands, and it's going to be really chaotic.
It'd be really fun. And that would fit with like the Wasteland kind of like apocalypse vibe, like it's just chaos. It'd be fun.
I would really love to see like some kind of weird band rivalry plot line.
Side note.
I wonder actually what they'll do for the single player, because Octo expansion was such a big step up.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be more adventure-y, kind of.
Which I like.
Yeah.
Octo expansion is good, but I think Splatoon 1 and 2's single players are kind of lame. In terms
I'm just
of, like,
hoping that the levels are gonna feel more organic and not
there's
just a bunch of floating stuff. Yeah. Like, they try so hard to, like, lore reason why all the levels in that game are just a bunch of floating platforms. It's like, it's because the Octarians have tech that just makes shit float. And it's like, okay, you're gonna make up lore reasons for why you have lazy level design. I get it.
Well, the level, it's like the level design wasn't even bad. Like,
no, the level design was good. It's just how it was, like, you know,
visually, like, constructed.
Yeah. How it was constructed, yeah. It's like, I look at other, like, you know, platformers or shooters and stuff, and it's just like the levels, you know, try to feel more organic. Like, I don't know, when it feels like new Super Mario Bros. Levels,
something like
make more sense in the world than. Yeah, exactly.
That's like probably a more like a linear like 3D platformer with lots of gimmick
like
levels.
how the Ratchet and Clank does its levels, where they're all set in specific planets, you know.
Yeah.
And they all have like their own world. Technically.
Hey, I like the fact that there's a bow coming to this game now.
Same. 100%. Oh my god. Like, that was one of the things that I really wanted to see in a new Splatoon game. I was like, they gotta add a bow weapon. And they did it.
Like, it's such a simple concept for a weapon. Like, it's just a bow. But, like, with the whole ink bow, like, I wonder what they're gonna call it.
Well, it is worth noting that it shoots 3 shots.
Oh, really? That's cool. That's pretty cool.
Because
that's goofy.
Yeah, because, like, in Splatoon 1, the base weapon was, like, the splatter shot, and then in Splatoon 2, it was the dualies, and then in this one, it's
they're going overkill.
Yeah. And you get a little buddy.
Oh, yes, the little buddy.
You can customize them.
You know, that man's probably comes with you throughout the whole game when you're playing it.
Well, probably the single player part. Oh my god, if they kill Little Buddy at the end of the game.
You're gonna do it.
People will be so mad.
He's gonna watch you die every time in an online match. You're gonna get splatted and he's gonna be like, oh, you got.
Yeah. there's so many cool little gameplay changes that were shown off in this, like how the respawn is now a fucking floating coffee machine that launches you into battle, and how like there's new movement techniques, like you can jump out of ink as a squid and dash, and you
Yeah.
can dash up walls now. to
Oh, that's kind of
jump
sick,
over the
actually.
top. Yeah, game looks great. Super excited for it. It's probably right at the top of my most anticipated games right now, along with like Elden Ring and the new Ratchet and Clank game.
Right. It's definitely. I can agree. It's definitely well for you, Chestnut. It's the best game that was released in this direct.
Oh yeah.
But I definitely put it up top 3. Probably
Mhm.
contender for 1
Yeah,
and 2.
Sam, you're more of a excited for Famicom Detective Club, I can tell.
Yes, I am just so lit about that game right now.
Yeah.
No, it's no. I'm not even trying to make it like not even trying to meme like Knockout Cities. Definitely top 10 in
I do
that.
really hope that in Splatoon 3 that the city you're exploring, Splatsville, is like really big and expansive, and it feels like an actual city and not just a block of a city.
Right, I agree. Because
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
little bits and pieces I played of Splatoon, I just kind of found it like I'm in a city, but I'm only in this one little section of it.
Yeah. You know what? It was funny looking back what we
I get
just
with the
said.
original game, they were going for a Shibuya Square kind of deal.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, but yeah. But like going back to what I just said about how the single player levels did not feel organic in the world at all. It's actually the exact opposite with the multiplayer stages, which feel extremely organic.
Yeah, they're really well done. I feel
Yeah.
like places that fit with the world really well. Like,
Yeah. So I'm
there's good map
hoping they
making.
could bring that energy into the single player part.
They need to keep that same energy. All right, well, moving away from the Nintendo Direct and into Pokemon announcements.
Yes.
Yeah.
They showed off
Just
like a
two
quick.
big announcements, right?
Yeah, they also showed off a quick trailer for Pokemon Snap.
Which that actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
We haven't talked much about that.
Are they getting Capcom to do it for them?
I can't remember.
I don't. Or somebody. It was a big name studio, remember? And let me look it up real quick. Yeah, no, it's Namco. They're getting
Namco,
Namco.
okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
not Capcom.
I love how in the trailer for what is it? What's the name of the new remakes? The Diamond and Pearl.
Oh yeah, the
Something Diamond, something Pearl.
Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shiny Pearl, something like that.
Of how
I'll
in the
remember
trailer.
the acronym once they're actually out and everyone talks about them nonstop.
I love how in the trailer, like, the Switch, like just a little detail I noticed, like the Switch dock is on the floor, and one of the Joy-Cons is unhinged from the actual Switch, and the other one is just completely barren. Like the other Joy-Con just doesn't look like anything is on it.
Eh.
I don't know. I just find that funny.
I wonder if they're gonna do the same detail that they did in Pokemon Let's Go, where the Joy-Con colors will change depending on what Joy-Con colors you have plugged into the
Okay.
Switch.
That's actually a really sick little touch.
Yeah,
I really
I
want
wonder
that.
if they'll do that. You know,
I mean,
I
that
have a
would-
feeling that they won't.
I mean, it'd be kind of a little bit of sentimental value if you actually had different color Joy-Cons.
Maybe. I
But-
mean, it's a cool touch if they were to do it again.
But anyway,
Yeah, honestly,
it looks like it's gonna be 1-to-1, which
Yeah.
including in the art style department.
yeah.
is-
This game fucking looks like ass.
We're just gonna be straight up.
I don't hate it.
I'm gonna be straight up. I think it looks like ass. Like, I don't know why you would want to play this game. It's like, let's play Diamond and Pearl 1-to-1 again, but it looks uglier this time. It's like, I can just play like Diamond and Pearl right fucking now on my goddamn DS, and it will look better than this remake. So why would I want to play the remake?
I mean, it's fair.
It's like, if they're trying to be super faithful and not change like almost anything. It's like,
Plus, they're trying to
just play
aren't they
Platinum.
trying to charge $60 for it still?
Yeah, I've
Probably.
heard like that's really the biggest issue is that Platinum I know adds a lot of really nice quality of life stuff.
Yeah, and they might keep that, but I doubt it. You know, it's like, is it gonna have the Battle Frontier? I doubt it. Is it gonna have good online? I doubt it. Is it gonna look
I don't know,
good
it's Pokemon
at
not
all?
bad, typically.
Well, it depends on how they do it. It's never the netcode that's an issue. It's how you connect to other players. That's always
Okay,
the issue
yeah.
with Pokemon, because they figured it out in X and Y with the player search system, and then they fucked it up every time after that for some reason. Although I will admit that Sword and Shield has better online than Sun and Moon, which had atrocious online.
Yeah,
Like, it was literally unplayable. I could not figure that shit out.
I honestly can't. I don't have a single complaint about the online in Sword and Shield.
Yeah. I don't think it's as good as the online in X and Y, but it's definitely at least playable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if something like the player search system is possible on the Switch because like Street Pass doesn't exist. I think
That's
that used some of
kind
that.
of true, but at the same time, it's like the player search system worked for one very simple reason. It would show you other players who were online, and you could ask them to do things, and then they could also type out their own specific messages. So what would happen was, if people were looking to play a specific like mode or like rule set, they could like type in the message like looking for OU battles.
Yeah.
And then you know that if somebody challenge you to a battle, they're gonna respect that you're looking for OU battles and bring an OU team.
Yeah.
You know? And so you could actually play the, rule sets you wanted to.
See, I can't really care about Pokemon Online to an extent because everyone's too much of a god.
I mean,
Let's stop
that's
caring about
fair,
Pokemon
but,
after the main game. Maybe I'll catch the legendaries.
like, honestly, for me, personally, the post-game, like, competitive battling aspect of Pokemon is, like, by far my favorite thing about the series. It's, like, honestly the only thing I really care about because I never found, like, campaigns that great because they're really not that
You didn't play
great.
Black and White as a child.
They weren't
Well, I
necessarily
played it
bad,
after
but
the fact.
they weren't anything impressive.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like,
It's kind of the repetitive.
this is
side.
fine, but the reason why this franchise is amazing is the multiplayer aspect to it. Like, to have a JRPG that actually is a legit, like, I can play this competitively multiplayer is fucking awesome.
I kind of take it for granted how, like, I can't point to another, like, multiplayer, like, turn-based JRPG, really.
It just doesn't exist. Like, honestly, like, the team building
Pokemon
is fantastic.
They added a lot of stuff with the whole like actually developing a relationship with your Pokemon with the whole camps and everything, and like especially like for me when I played through if you get the armor pass they give you like the
DLC for Sword and Shield.
Yeah, they give you the I forget what the name of the Pokemon is, but you like quite literally you have to develop a relationship with it or else it won't evolve.
It kills you in your sleep.
I mean, I just like that concept of just having to actually develop it.
Yeah. I mean, like, the armor DLC, it adds like Pokemon following behind you, only on that like specific island.
And a faster bike with a trail.
Game. Yeah. Well, I think it's just a cooler bike.
Or a cooler bike with a trail.
Yeah. But it's like, that following Pokemon mechanic should have just been in the base game, and even that they fucked up because it doesn't actually work how it's supposed to. Because for some reason they decided to tie the Pokemon's movement speed to their actual speed stat, as opposed to just having them follow behind you. So if you have a really slow Pokemon, like,
that's actually almost a fun touch.
Yeah, like Slugma. Well, here's the problem with it: if you have like a slow Pokemon that can't keep up with their player character, then they keep teleporting behind you. They keep disappearing and then spawning back behind you, and it looks like shit.
Yeah, that's fair. But like,
Darn
if
it.
you
That went
have,
from like
if
a
you,
nice attention to detail to kind of lame.
Yeah.
if you have a
It's
cinder,
like Game Freak can't do anything right, it feels like. They just fuck up everything. And it's kind of insane. It's like, could you guys not fuck up your games like one time? It's not that hard to just get these features correct. Like,
maybe it's harder than you think,
No,
man.
has there been a
No.
Were the
No.
GameCube games developed by Game Freak? Because I'm actually curious
No.
to play a Pokemon game not developed by them.
to be fair, the new Diamond and Pearl remakes are not developed by Game Freak. They're developed
Okay.
by the guys who made the Pokemon Home app. And that's it. All they've made is an app that transfers your Pokemon from one system to another. So, Game Freak decided to let them handle one of their most anticipated remakes ever. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And this is the result we get.
You get
Fucking
awesome babies.
Chibis that don't even
Hey,
look,
the original game with
don't
babies.
even. Yeah, but they're chibis, but they're sprites. So they don't even look like chibis. They just look like sprites because it's like what it looks like in the original game is the same of how it looks like in like every other like sprite JRPG. Like
Yeah.
old school Final Fantasy, like with characters on the overworld, they're big blown up versions. They're chibi. And so it looks fine when it's that. But then when you do it like this in 3D, it doesn't really work unless you style it in a specific way. And they did not style it in a specific way. They translated it one-to-one.
Yeah,
It
like
looks
take Bravely
bad.
Default,
Yeah.
which translates it actually really well. Like it has a very unique art style.
Yeah. And just like you can pair this to another game that was honestly overpriced, but I feel like does the exact same thing this game is trying to do, but better, the Link's Awakening remake. There's so much soul put into the visual style of that game that just is not in these Diamond and Pearl remakes. They're just not there.
Yeah.
Which
Maybe that's
I
sucks.
just
can
a lack of
understand
room.
like where some people are coming from where they're defending it, basically saying, well, I'm just happy they're not actually going back through Diamond and Pearl and butchering it. And it's like, yeah, that's fair, but the fact that you're even concerned about that at all, like, just goes to show how bad of a state the Pokemon video game franchise is right now.
Yeah, I suppose. Let's get into Legends, because
Yes.
they finally hired that man.
They really did.
They hired that man.
Got Pokemon Breath of the Wild. They did it.
I like
You know,
that.
I'm intrigued.
3 FPS.
I mean, it looks bad, but smooth that out a bit.
The frame rate is atrocious, and I can guarantee you it will not be fixed when this game comes out a year later.
Right.
It's
It did look
like,
god awful.
like it might run at 20 frames per second as opposed to 5, but I still don't think it will be
Yo.
good. It's just like
What?
I really don't know what the deal is with this game because I'm just looking at it and it's
Because
like
they're pumping these out only every couple. They're trying to pump out RPGs every couple of years. The development cycle on like the average RPG is like a century.
that's just because they're taking them too long. I don't know. Back in the day, they released Final Fantasy 9 a year after Final Fantasy 8 came out. 9 was
Yeah,
better than 8 in every way.
that was just because 8 was experimental as hell. But anyway.
Yeah, but 8 still looked great,
Oh yeah.
and then 9 looked substantially better. But yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't.
there's not much to say about Pokemans.
There was like a leak thing that came out right after the trailer came out that said it was like an action RPG, but the trailer clearly showed turn-based combat.
Maybe the
So-
trailer just communicated it badly.
Yeah, and then it also
I
said that it
think
was.
because
active-
I've heard it would have ATB.
Yeah. Yeah, it also said it was both an action RPG and it had ATB combat, but it's like you
It could be
can't
like-
do both action and
It could be like
turn-based
your Final
combat
Fantasy
at the
7
same
kind of thing.
time.
Your Final Fantasy 7 remake kind of thing. Or if you
It
run
doesn't
around
look
and dodge
like that.
crap while you wait for your ATV to charge back
Well,
up.
that's not like that's not real like active time battle. That's just an action game that has.
Well, it's ATV where you could walk around a bit during the
It's
fight.
just an action game when Kingdom Hearts, but you have to like wait till you can fill up a bar to actually use your stuff.
That's just what ATV is. I don't know. I think it's ATV with a little bit of a layer added on top. I don't
Nah,
know.
real ATV
don't-
is you just stand there and wait to play
You
the
stand
game.
there and wait.
I mean, it is in the
Yeah, they
name.
call it active time battle, but it has more waiting than just regular turn-based.
Yes.
ATB is so silly.
Parasite Eve did it. Parasite Eve is ATV, but you could walk around slightly.
Yeah.
And it's top down. It's
I mean,
weird.
that's kind of like how Chrono Trigger, except, in Chrono Trigger, the enemies walk around as opposed to you do. Like, Chrono Trigger is
Yeah.
one of the few games that, like, actually utilizes ATB to its fullest.
Yeah,
Like,
Chrono Trigger uses
this
it really
actually
cool,
makes
man.
the game better, as opposed
Yeah.
to just taking away from it.
Yeah, or being straight up turn based would
Yeah.
probably improve
Because,
a
like,
lot of.
you look back at, like, what, the very first active time battle game, like Final Fantasy IV, and, like, the game would just be fine if it was regular turn-based. Because all ATB does is, it's like, you get into a fight, you gotta wait for your character's bar to fill up. Okay, the bars fill up. Now you select a move. Now you attack. But before you guy can attack, he has to wait another 5 seconds for no reason. Just does. And it's just like, okay. There's just so much extra waiting in active time battles most of the time, and it's like,
Yeah,
obviously it differs from game to game, but it's like, I
it's
feel like
nice
regular
that stuff like Final
turn-based
Fantasy VII's
battle.
modern ports add like fast forward. So it doesn't
Yeah,
really-
honestly, I feel like the fast forward in the modern ports is too fast. They need to slow it back down, so it's still fast forward, but not too fast. But here's the thing, like, fast forward doesn't even really work well with ATB. Because then it's just
Yeah.
like, things are going too fast, and I can't actually do anything.
Yeah, true.
Well, as fast forwarding with regular turn based, it's just, okay, I fast forward so that, I don't have to watch the same really slow battle animation for the 50th time.
Moral of the story is some designer needs to figure this out.
I've already figured this out. I just need to listen to me.
But anyway, what were we on again? Pokemon.
We're talking
Let's
about
move on to
Pokemon
State of Play.
Legends Arceus.
Let's move on to State of Play.
Yeah.
That's the next topic, right, Sam?
Let's
Yes.
move on. Pokemon.
Yes. Moving out of Pokemon, we're gonna go.
Cut that down slightly. I think we talked about some cool stuff, but we do need to cut down to rambling a bit.
I think the ATB tangent was okay.
It's okay, but
All right, moving on to the PlayStation State of Play.
yeah, get right
Yeah.
into the whatever, Sam.
The first thing they showed off was new gameplay trailer for Returnal.
For what?
Returnal.
Oh yeah, yeah. You talk about that more. You were more excited for that.
Yeah. Returnal was one of those games when they first showed it off, I had like literally zero interest for it, but after watching the gameplay trailer in the State of Play, I immediately became more interested in it. It went from a 0 to me to like a 60 or 70 level
Wow.
of interest, just because the gameplay is like kind of a fast-paced third-person shooter with cool monster designs, and you got some cool abilities, like shooting big lasers and shit like that. Yeah, the enemy designs in this game are really fucking cool looking.
I haven't seen them. Try and describe them to me, and I'll imagine them in my
Oh,
brain.
they're like black tentacle monster thingies that are shot
Wow.
at and stuff. They're cool. They're more creative than human with a gun.
Alright.
It's got like a cool roguelite element, I think. Like every time you die, something happens. I'm not sure. They keep talking about like, oh, you die and then you come back, like, how video games work, but they haven't really depth in it with how it actually works in the game. They just keep mentioning it, and that's why it's called Returnal. Because I don't know, it's such a weird title. Because it's like,
I like the
You're
fact that it's a psychological
Like,
horror
it's-
game.
it's like you both return and it's eternal. So you return eternally
Wow.
because you're like in a death loop,
Which is
What
a
a
whole nother
title.
thing.
which has nothing to actually. This game has nothing to actually do with the other game, actually titled Deathloop, though. That's
Whoa, segue?
no,
Oh. Talk about that later.
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Moving on to a game I am a bit more interested in than Returnal, though. Like from the initial trailer, Solar Ash.
Oh yes, the creators
Yeah.
of Hyperlight Drifter made this one.
Drifter.
Hyper Life Drifter. That's what they should name the sequel.
No, the sequel's name is Solar Ash, even though I don't think these are connected plot-wise, despite the fact that this looks visually the same, except it's in 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got the same aesthetic.
Can
It
they
does
top
look,
Hyperlight Drifter
Hyper
though?
Life Drifter is absolutely beautiful. So.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Hyperlight Drifter plays great, it looks great. It was made in Game Maker. I think
Oh wow,
Game Maker
that's
Studio
actually
2. Yeah.
amazing for Game Maker. I didn't know.
Yeah,
Like,
Hyperlight Drifter is like easily one of the best Game Maker games.
Wow.
I didn't know Game Maker could handle something that like fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
game.
like-
It's definitely a very fast-paced game.
Yeah, and Solar Ash, you can just tell by how it looks that the movement in this game is fantastic, and it's just gonna be super fun to just run around and jump and shit.
But the
The
real
combat
question.
looks
Go ahead.
okay, but yeah, it doesn't look like it has as great combat as Hyperlife Drifter, but Hyperlife Drifter also focused on its combat a lot more than Solar Ash. Solar Ash seems to be a lot more focused on the platforming, which, to be fair, wasn't in Hyperlight Drifter at all, because that was
Yeah,
just
like top down. Yeah.
yeah, that was a top-down like action adventure game.
Are they considered the same genre?
I mean, I would say no, just because one is top-down and the other is in 3D.
Right.
And it's third person. So just that alone would differentiate the genre.
You hit stuff. It's an action adventure game.
But I guess they would both technically fall under the action adventure umbrella, which you could argue is like every game that isn't Animal Crossing.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, moving on to the new FNAF game.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that?
With the Freddy's Security Breach.
Security Breach.
This
You're-
is cool.
You're
This is-
not.
Taking a cool direction.
Isn't it first person?
Yeah. It's first-person survival horror. I'm not technically
Is this gonna be
sure.
VR compatible
Survival.
because it's by the Help Wanted devs?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
gotta be. It's gotta be. If it's not, then they're doing something wrong.
I mean, it's a horror game. I'm not sure if it would technically qualify as a survival horror game, because that would mean it has to have survival mechanics outside of hiding from the big scary monster.
Yeah. Like, what resource management are we gonna be doing? Like, keep collecting Freddy pizzas?
Yeah, it's probably just like a straight up horror game, but it's still really cool to see.
If it's gonna be like Amnesia type, but with Freddy Fazbear, sweet.
Yeah,
Yo,
it's
that
kind of
see, that'd
what
be
I
spooky.
expected the original FNAF to be when I first
Ah.
heard about it, but didn't see any gameplay of it. I just thought it was like an indie horror game like Amnesia, but instead of being
Yeah.
in a spooky dungeon, you're in a spooky Chuck E. Cheese. It's gonna kill you.
All Chuck E. Cheeses are spooky.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
yeah.
there was like
Um,
I almost won a Chuck E. Cheese once, and there was like an on-rail shooter game, and there was big scary bugs in it.
Oof.
I didn't want to play it because it had big scary bugs in it.
Can we just? Chuck E. Cheese has the scariest looking and tasting pizza. Don't ask me how they made their pizzas scary.
But did you see that one Chuck E. Cheese tweet where they said they had the best pizza in the West or whatever it was?
No, they don't. It
Does
tastes
that
like.
imply to the east that there's a better pizza? Like, where are they referring to? Italy?
I
Like,
think they meant like West as in Western world. But I don't think they actually said that specifically. But I
Okay,
know
the
they
way it worded
made a
it-
tweet.
It implies that China has pizzas rivaling like Chuck E. Cheese. So I'm curious.
That China
There's
would
so many
make
implications to that tweet.
China would make there's Michelin star chefs making top notch pizza,
Oh, I'm sure.
and
Yeah.
Chuck E. Cheese is not Michelin star at all. If anything, they're the exact opposite of a single Michelin star.
I
No
don't even know what a
offense,
Michelin star is.
no offense to Chuck E. Cheese, but still, their pizza is like cardboard, literally and taste wise, cardboard. Anyways, going
Yeah.
back to FNAF.
Yeah. Do you think the pizza in the FNAF universe is also tastes like cardboard?
I mean, it's gotta. It's
I
just
feel it.
it's just the running. It's a animatronic place
Probably is.
for
Yeah.
Big
birthdays.
pizza there.
What do you
Yeah.
what do you even
It's
call?
pizzeria. It's like a pizzeria arcade. That's how I would describe it.
Okay, so it's not the same as Chuck E. Cheese.
It's like a
then.
combination Taco Bell.
Oh,
and
Chuck E.
Pizza
Cheese
Hut,
is an arcade.
but instead it's a Pizza Hut and an arcade pushed together.
Yo, what if one of us, like, just real quick side note, what if one of us worked at Chuck E. Cheese? That would be some spooky ass shit.
Well, luckily, I think they went bankrupt. Actually, I think they went bankrupt and someone bought them out of bankruptcy, so they might come back after the pandemic, but who knows?
All right.
They're just gonna make a shitty movie about them.
Right.
You know,
the FNAF movie.
You know, I really
They got
surprised-
thrown in the trash.
I think Chuck E. Cheese should rebrand as a horror attraction to cash off in on FNAF. I really
You know
think
what they should do? They should just take all the transaction. You know what? What if Scott Coffin bought Chuck E. Cheese out of
That
bankruptcy
would be amazing.
That would be ironic as shit.
and just turn them all into Freddy Fazbear pizzerias?
He would make trillions.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's actually the big brain play. Is actually make Freddy Fazbear pizzerias.
See, it could either go one of two ways, really good or really bad.
There's no way it could go bad. It would just have to go good.
I would go there to a Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. I'd have my birthday there. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Especially since FNAF is super popular with kids.
Oh man, and like if it's like if you're like the birthday boy, Freddy will come up and like bite out your frontal lobe.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I like how we barely talked about the game. It does look really great.
Just say, we don't know too much other than it's a new FNAF game that
I
looks like it's
think
going to
it
be
looks
just
really
as big
good.
itself from the convoluted lore, so I'm a bit excited.
Yeah.
Which I love FNAF's lore, but it needs a bit of a reset.
Yeah,
I
I can
am
agree.
very impressed with how good it looks, though. I
It does
love
look
the
very
aesthetic.
visually pleasing.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to Oddworld Soulstorm. Recall, this is
Yeah.
more
I
of
like the Oddworld series. And this is out, by the way. I haven't played it.
Yeah.
I want to finish the rest of the series eventually.
Didn't it
but
come out for like free on PlayStation 5 or something?
yeah. Weird.
I guess that was their incentive to make people buy PS5s.
Yeah.
As if they are out of stock everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not even worth buying a PS5 because like majority of the games are getting ported to the computer now.
Yeah, that's
Well-
true.
There's like maybe like a handful of games, one of which is actually like a first party producer, which is the Spider-Man game.
It's not
Yeah.
PS4.
Yeah. It's like the only game right now
Demon's
that's
Souls.
like 100% exclusive to PS5 is Demon's Souls. And even that is just a remake of a PS3 game.
Right.
Which,
Which doesn't actually change anything, fun fact.
yeah.
All
Which
right.
makes it
It adds
But,
like
um,
one armor set if you find a bunch of coins hidden throughout the game.
oh my gosh, that's just like their Shadow of the Colossus remake.
Yeah.
Where a
Yeah,
bunch
they
of
did
coins
that.
in front game to get a sword.
Yeah. You have to like do at least 3 playthroughs going through New Game Plus and getting like going through all the world tendencies, going from full dark to full light in order to collect them all. But if you get like a certain amount, then you'll get a key that will open a new door that will give you the penetrator armor.
But on this Oddworld, I like the Oddworld series. They're really charming and fun and atmospheric and cool.
Yeah.
So Next Gen Oddworld game is honestly really cool. Like, I'm excited to get to that.
Oh yeah, this was definitely one of the cool things when they first announced it. That I was like, damn, they're actually doing fucking shit with Oddworld. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
It does look
It does
visually.
show.
I've never been a big fan of the Oddworld series, just because it's just not my not my cup of tea. But like,
Yeah.
it definitely looks very cool, and I don't know what it is, but like in the trailer, they showed just like a bunch of the dudes just following, like the main character that you control.
It's the central mechanic of all the games where you it was one of the gimmicks of like when it was on PS1, you could like talk to NPCs by like pressing buttons on a controller and they would like follow you around and stuff.
Yeah,
There's like a lot of
the point of the
puzzles around
game
that.
is to rescue all the people of your race who are like in a farm factory
Turns-
thing and getting
Yeah,
like,
they're
slaughtered to get put into
played
like
by Rupture
pans.
Farms. They're going to be turned into pops.
Yeah, and so
Turned
you
into,
have to go around and save them all.
it's
Oh.
fun. It's really fucked up and weird and great.
It's about capitalism.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to, is it Kina?
Is it Kenya? It's one or the other. Kenya. I'm not sure how it's supposed to be pronounced. Something Bridge of Spirits.
Yes.
Game that looks like a Pixar movie.
Oh, isn't this being made by the dude that made that Zelda cinematic?
Yeah, the Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask cinematic, and then freaking
Yeah.
they should have hired
The
that
dude
guy.
that tricked me years ago.
Yeah, it was like I think it was like a April Fool's Day, like Majora's Mask HD thing, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Actually, now that you bring that up, I want to say like you or Ricola had brought that up. Like it showed up on your Twitter the one day, and you guys were like flipping
No, it wasn't
out.
Twitter. This was before Twitter. This was like. before I was on
Oh,
Twitter.
maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of something else then.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't literally before Twitter, but it was before.
Yeah, before I used Twitter. I mean.
Yeah,
Twitter is pretty old now.
yeah.
But back to
Yeah.
Kenna.
Yeah, it looks really cool. You got like these little furry guys that kind of look like, I don't know what they look like. They're just like
They almost.
spherical dudes.
Hold on, let me see. I want to say they reminded me of
They got the big cartoon eyes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Never mind. They don't remind me of that.
Yeah. It looks cool. It's a action adventure game.
Oh, you know what they remind me of? The freaking Club Penguin pets.
Puffles.
The Puffles.
uh,
We got HD Puffles now, guys.
Finally.
Fucking-ly.
yay.
They discontinued Club Penguin.
I thought they brought it back.
Or they bought it, they discontinued all the old accounts.
Nah, they ended it, but they made it a spin-off app.
Oh, okay.
And someone made in Flash an entire remake of the whole game, and Disney never got around to shutting it down.
That's okay, because Flash is dead now, so it's dead
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Disney
no,
didn't have to do it.
going
The
back
world
to
did it for them.
Kenna, I think it's a cool concept. I've seen a couple, like, I don't know if it's fan art or actual, like, scenes from the game, but it looks like you can use your staff as, like, a bow. Or maybe that's just a whole
Yeah,
entire different weapon.
yeah. No, you can use your staff as a bow, I'm pretty sure.
Which, I think that looks...
It's a magic staff. You can use it in a bunch of different ways. I think that's the point. You can whack people with it, shoot projectiles. I'm pretty sure you can control the little guys that have with you, kind of like Pikmin.
Right, I
Cool.
was just about to say that.
The game looks pretty good. I'm actually pretty interested in it.
Yeah,
Definitely something I might pick up.
I'm excited for the different areas in it because it looks like it's like takes place in a forest. So like you can it's like open world-esque in a sense, but at the same time like
Probably wouldn't say that. I don't think it looks very open world at all.
well, cuz it looks like you're in a giant
It looks.
forest.
I'm pretty sure it's just a linear action adventure game.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I mean
There
it
is a
is
plot.
under the genre of action adventure.
I don't know what the plot is. No, I think it's like you're at a village and then you need to go climb up a mountain or something and do something.
Right.
That's about it.
Oh, it looks
You
like
gotta
it's
save
only.
the spirits or whatever in the forest.
Oh man.
Like that.
It only looks like it's gonna be sold for $40 too.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's probably the best value game coming out.
Yeah. Considering it'll probably be better than most your average Sony exclusive.
Right.
And it's only gonna be $40. Yeah, it's probably gonna be pretty good.
Which that's interesting. $40.
I mean, it's probably gonna be better than like Days Gone, but like,
Yeah.
yeah,
See
Is
this
that a very high barrier?
nah,
visually and just like judging off the trailers we've seen so far, this definitely looks like a $60 game. It's just I feel like it's just gonna get that much more sales from the
yeah,
fact that it is
does
a $40 game.
definitely, visually wise, it definitely does look like a $60 game. But it is important to remember that this is still pretty much an indie studio developing it. They just are really, they're just
We live in a time where anyone can have good graphics now.
Right.
Beautiful.
Not even that. I think it's just that these guys are obviously, at
Just
least
trying
the
to-
people working on the graphics are obviously really good at their fucking jobs.
And they're trying
Yeah.
to get their
Like
foot
the
in the
people
door.
they hire to make Pokemon games.
in GQ.
Hey. Put enough shade of Pokemon throughout this.
I want to keep throwing shade.
Alright. We've hinted at this game a couple times throughout the podcast. Deathloop is up next.
Which I'm very excited for because by the Dishonored Prey devs, and Prey kicks ass.
Yeah, this is probably going to be pretty good.
I love the aesthetic.
Yeah, no, it looks sick. I also like the I guess let's just jump right into it. I like the fact that there's other characters aside from the main story that are trying to kill you as you're playing this game.
Yeah, like there's the one chick. I think it's like, I'm not 100% sure how it works, but I think it's like technically like versus multiplayer.
Oh, so it's like Dark Souls Invasion, you?
Yeah, like one person plays as the protagonist and then the other person plays as the other girl and then they try to kill you.
Okay, and I'll be bee-hopping and they will never be able to hit me. It'll be great.
Yeah. But the premise of the game is that it's a death loop, kind of like Majora's Mask. And that you're stuck in a time loop. Keep dying, and then you get set back to the beginning. In order to stop it, you have to kill, like I think 7 specific people. I'm not sure the exact number of targets.
A number.
You gotta kill a certain amount of people. And it has, like... So I guess it's technically a roguelite.
Yeah.
In a
No.
way.
In a way it is.
Yeah. Every time you die, you have to start at the beginning of the game.
It's technically an action adventure, but definitely
It isn't randomly generated, though, so...
So it is not a roguelike.
Yeah, it's
It's the Sexy Brutale, but which is a game I've never played, but AAA.
yeah. But yeah, it's interesting to see big AAA studios introducing more like roguelite elements.
Yeah, it's the big thing.
yeah, it's definitely a lot of good games coming out are roguelike or roguelike-esque games. Like just
Yeah.
little
I
bits
mean,
and pieces.
like-
I'm almost a bit
Yeah.
burnt on some of the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, lots of big AAA studios have always done like the random generation stuff, but this is more so the start at the beginning when you die stuff, which is so they're taking different elements than they usually do.
I just want to throw like another little thing
Yeah.
in there, just not related to, well, yes, related to Deathloop, but I just love how this is one of the games that was supposed to be PlayStation 5 exclusive, but it's got ported to PC along with a couple other games.
Which, thank God. Because I do not
I'm not
like playing
100%
FPS with
sure.
a controller.
If it actually did, because I thought that was only like
It's hitting Windows.
yeah,
okay,
release.
and it is getting ported to PC. Okay, I thought I knew it was like a timed PlayStation exclusive. Is it getting ported like same day of release?
yeah, it
or,
says it's
like-
released on September 14th, 2021 for PlayStation 5 and
Oh, I
Windows.
think that got yeah, that's the right date. Because I know it just got delayed, like yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, but another funny thing about it, like that, is that this is getting published by Bethesda, and this was made before they got bought by Microsoft,
Yeah.
the exclusivity deal. So now Microsoft is effectively publishing a PlayStation, console exclusive.
Bizarre state of affairs, but Microsoft's gonna be making money off of it, so I don't think they care.
No, they
Right.
don't care. I feel like Microsoft is only keeping up with the Xbox at this point just to keep their hand in the pie.
Yeah, it still makes
We
money.
have billions of dollars. We don't care if we win or not.
Hey, I mean,
Yeah.
if they're making money and people are still buying it, why get rid of it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Xbox,
I mean, that's the thing. It's like Xbox is doing it because it's like we don't rely on this.
yeah, but Sony's arguably relies very heavily on the PlayStation lately. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of their other places are not doing great.
Yeah.
Which we have another topic we'll talk about that. Getting rid of something that just.
Yeah.
Well, that's later on for that. Anyways.
Finishing off the state of play with the last thing showed off, it was the Final Fantasy VII Remake DLC. I think it was like Final Fantasy VII Upgrade.
The coolest character in the video game.
Once again, the only thing I took from that trailer was the fact that some dude was literally spinning in circles, hitting the enemy with another character.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was a combo attack.
It's just like, I understand it's a combo attack, but literally using one of the other characters just literally just mauls the other.
It extends the range.
I mean,
that's
fair. If you were to swing me,
you understand the tactical advantages.
If you were to swing me by my legs and hit Ricola in the face, you would have like a whole 5 feet extra of range if you were swinging me by my legs.
Motherfucker with another motherfucker.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Yuffie and what's the town she's from called again? What is it? Witari?
Something. Oh, I can't remember.
Whatever it's called. Yuffie and
Wutai.
Yeah, Yuffie and Wutai are pretty unexplored parts of Final Fantasy VII, if we're going to be honest. So I'm kind of excited.
That's because she's an optional character.
Exactly, but she's likable and cool, so.
That's true. But it is more, fan fiction. At this point, I really can't defend the plot of Final Fantasy VII Remake as anything else besides Nomura's fan fiction.
See, it's a weird case because
it's fine when he does it in Kingdom Hearts because that entire series is just his fan fiction. But well,
it's a weird case because he's involved in the original game.
Yeah, but he wasn't that involved compared to the other directors. He did the character design and he did a bit of directing, but the other guys were much more involved.
Is it Hideo Nakata? Did he write it? I can't remember.
I don't remember exactly, but yeah.
On a side note, not gonna lie, it was kind of weird seeing Cloud in that trailer, just because I've only really seen him in Smash Bros.
It's so bizarre we live on a planet where Cloud is not recognizable from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that is kind of.
What's next? What is next?
Okay, moving on from Final Fantasy VII. I feel like we ran out of things to talk about. Now, moving on from the state of play, the new releases that came out somewhat recently. And first, we're going to talk about Monster Hunter Rise.
I haven't played it.
Me neither. I am not a big Monster Hunter guy. You like Monster Hunter, right, Lucas?
Yes, I actually played the one on 3DS. My cousin bought it for me on we played it all this trip we took to Florida, probably a good 2 weeks straight.
Right.
We played it for 2 weeks straight with me, my cousin, and his friend, and it was just the most fun thing. We were just it just basically sparked my interest in the whole IP. Like
Right.
I'm definitely gonna play this game. It's definitely on my top games to buy. It definitely going into the actual trailer of it. It looks sick. Let's just put it simple. It looks sick. Um,
Yeah, I've heard it's really good. So far, it's getting lots of great reviews. I think it's already sold like 5 million copies in like the first few
Which,
weeks.
yeah, which I did
I
not.
was really curious where they were going to go after World.
Yeah. I think
Like,
doing a smaller scale, cheaper Switch exclusive is a good idea. Because
yeah,
because now you have World for everybody else, and then you have Rise, which is on the Switch, and it comes out on PC like a year after.
yeah.
Which I
Yeah,
kind of like the fact that they did that, only for the fact of people actually being able to enjoy it on the Switch.
yeah, because it's definitely something that will run and look a lot better on PC, obviously.
Right.
Uh, yeah.
It's almost kind of the similar thing with Dark Souls, right? Didn't Dark Souls remain on console for a little bit before it got put on PC?
Yeah, there was a petition to get it on PC, and
Yeah.
they eventually put it on, and it's a really bad PC port. It's like famously bad.
I know, but
Yeah.
like it's the
The original Dark
skyboxes in that game
Souls
look
was
sick.
not greatly optimized. Yeah.
I definitely one thing with the Monster Hunter Rise, I like the fact that they added like these almost caper demon looking things and like the blood moon, these blood moon like dragons. I think they are. Like they just look like they have the Oni masks, and it looks sick.
Right, right, because it's very
Yeah, they went more
Japanese
Japanese inspired
inspired.
setting.
Yeah, it's like a kind of ninja themed.
Right, which also just looks sick.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing, I definitely, I mean, obviously you could play this game by yourself, but I definitely think it's way more fun with at least 2 to 3 people. Like even
Yeah.
another
Oh yeah,
person,
Definitely.
just
Yeah.
because of the factor of being able to take on like the bosses and just because they're not like when you play the game like these beasts aren't hard. The monsters aren't hard to kill. Like aren't easy to kill, and like having like two friends there that like you were talking to or just playing in general over an online play is just it's fun to play the
Oh
game
yeah,
with somebody else is what I'm trying to
yeah.
say.
I played multiplayer Monster Hunter. It's sick.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely a multiplayer more intense game in my opinion.
Oh yeah, well I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on from Monster Hunter to the next big release. At least for me, definitely. Bravely Default 2.
Yes.
Which I've got around to playing, but I love Bravely Default and Bravely Second to a lesser extent, but still great.
Yeah.
Yes, a game I definitely am going to play as well.
Yeah. So I have already beaten Bravely Default 2. I just finished it a few days ago. And I can safely say that right now it is my game of the year.
Nice.
It was absolutely amazing. It blew my expectations out of the water with how good it is. Legitimately, probably somewhere in my top 10 games of all time.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's absolutely fucking amazing. And I would definitely give it a perfect score, 10 out of 10. It's kind of like the perfect game for me.
right.
It's
Yeah, I
one of those
got
games
the
that,
Final Fantasy 3 job system.
yeah, 3, 5 job system is just perfect. It's like, damn, because all the little annoyances in one are just not in this game, which is probably the best part about it. It's like you don't have to replay tons of content. You do revisit all the cities once really quick, but like it's not a big deal. And even that, it's like you're doing totally new stuff there. So
You gotta
yeah,
love it when a company that's making a series of games like they actually fix minor details that were like that would bug a player.
yeah.
For
Because like
instance,
the big problem with like Bravely Default 1 is just that you have to replay effectively the game over and over again.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 times. It's nuts.
Yeah, because it has like this plot where it's like you're looping through different dimensions and shit, and so you have to
Although it's not getting too much
refight
into it.
all the bosses and stuff. And this game, it has those end game boss refights, but it handles it so much better because
Yeah.
now they're completely replayable. You can do them as many times as you want. They're way more interesting, and they're just super great. The end game bosses. Just playing with the job system and making up however you want your party to be.
Yeah, no, that is
super
definitely a cool
creative
concept. When you were
with-
explaining me that for the first time, Chestnut, because like you were kind of explaining the whole game to me,
Mhm.
that was definitely one of the things that like caught my attention because that just seemed. I like the factor of just like kind of like
Yeah.
Pokemon, like building your party exactly
Oh,
how
yeah.
you want it. Obviously, it's a little bit different than
Yeah,
Pokemon.
because like the really fucking cool aspect of this game is every single boss, pretty much, like almost all the bosses are asterisk holders, and every time you defeat an asterisk holder boss, you get their asterisk, which unlocks their job. So effectively, you just gain the abilities of the bosses you fight.
Which is neato.
Yeah.
Which was, you know.
So every time you fight a new boss, it gets this excitement of, okay, there's this cool new boss I have to fight, and they're all great. And then you get, once you beat it, it's like, yes, I've unlocked this new job that I can play around with and try out and see if they're good or not.
Yeah.
And most of them are, except for like the gambler. And even
Really,
they're not
Default 1
bad.
had an issue where a lot of the bosses were
Yeah.
kind of useless against other bosses, so you couldn't really use a lot of the jobs.
Yeah. I only have a few minor complaints with this game, and that's very simply that the map could have been better. It's easy to get really lost in dungeons because there's no map for the dungeons, even though Bravely Default and Bravely Second had maps for their dungeons.
Actually.
Yeah, which is not necessarily terrible. It's just like I felt like I spent a lot of time running around in circles in dungeons just trying to find the treasure chest that was hidden there. And yeah.
I mean, they kind of could have went for that whole like make it harder, but at the same time, I can understand where you're coming from.
Bravely
There's
Default's
definitely-
already very hard, don't worry.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I played through this game on hard mode, you know, and I felt the challenge was just right for the most part.
Right. Which is
I
good
didn't
if you're
usually have to adjust my party in order to beat a boss. But that is also one of my other complaints, I'd say, is that the thief is a little overpowered. Specifically, their one ability, Godspeed Strike. This ability is like by far the best offensive ability in the entire game by like a mile and a half. Because not only does it do like the most amount of damage in the entire game, but it literally hits twice. So not only is it the highest damaging ability, it's the highest damaging ability by like 2 times.
Yeah.
Because there's other abilities in the game that can deal about as much damage as it, but none of them will hit twice for the exact same amount of damage guaranteed.
wow, that does seem kind of
So
broken.
it's just like it scales off your speed stat, which is like also one of the best stats in the game because one of the big differences between Bravely Default 2 and the original is that the original is classical turn-based, while this is turn order. You can think like Final Fantasy 1
or 10.
2 with like compared to Final Fantasy 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so having a high speed stat is like really useful because it means your turn will go faster. And so you want to have high speed anyway. And so you just have this attack that scales off your speed and then it just does an insane amount of damage.
I mean, it does seem kind of
Yeah.
broken. I mean, why not use and abuse it though at the same
Yeah,
time?
exactly. Well, that's what I did. Like I didn't have them. Like I had like one main offensive character in my party, and I didn't have them on Thief. I had their Thief as the sub job, but I had them on like Dragoon first job because Dragoon has effectively the same stats as the Thief but better.
Right.
Because
Okay.
they have like the same speed stats, but they have higher offense and defensive stats.
Okay, so it's a little more balanced, but same-ish.
Yeah, well, no, the Dragoon just has better stats than the Thief, but the Thief has, like, arguably better abilities.
Okay.
Not all the jobs are, like, effectively, supposed to be all effectively equal. Like, the final job you get in the game, like, which is, like, a secret unlock job you get after beating, like, the first final boss, because it has multiple endings and stuff.
Right.
I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's effectively this game's equivalent of like the Onion Knight from the Final Fantasy III remake, where it's just has the best stats in the game by
Yo,
far.
I sorry, but like, I don't mean to go off a little topic for a second. When you said Onion Knight, I just thought the dude from Dark Souls 3.
Yeah,
He's a reference, I believe, right?
yeah. I don't think he's supposed to be a reference to
Really?
Final Fantasy III.
Really?
I
Huh.
don't know.
Because that's such like a weird like idea. Because he is an Onion Knight.
He is definitely an Onion Knight.
All right, back to Bravely Default. Apologies.
Yeah.
It's just I had to share that. It was just
But
funny.
yeah, that job is like so overpowered. And you know what's funny enough? On the final boss fight of the game, I actually had to switch my healer to that primary job because I was like, I just can't, because like that job has an ability where you every turn you get one free brave point at the start
Holy
of
shit.
start of your turn.
Yeah, someone who's played Bravely Default 1, that's insane.
Yeah, so really quick to explain the Brave and Default system, which the games are named after, to explain why this is such a broken ability. In Bravely Default, each character can perform up to 4 turns per turn. But in order to do that, you have to consume a Brave point. But you can go negative in Brave points, and then you won't be able to like do an action for like 4 turns.
Right. Okay.
Right. But you can charge up a brave point by instead defaulting, which is the defend option in this game, where you take less damage but you don't do anything. So it
Okay.
actually gives a use to defending in an RPG, which usually you would never use that ability.
Unless you're playing SMT, where everything will one-shot you if you don't.
Funnily enough, I've been playing Final Fantasy 1 recently, and I keep thinking, man, I really wish this game had a defend command. Because I'm playing the PlayStation 1 version of the game. Yeah. And it's like, it doesn't have a defend command, but like my Black Mage does nothing 90% of the time, except for the one time I want him to cast the spell that will kill every enemy on screen. But I can only do it like 3 times, so I better not ever use it outside of when I really need to. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Bravely Default 2 is just absolutely amazing.
Yep,
I'm excited to get around to it.
All right. Moving on. Oh boy. Oh boy, the next one, Balan Wonderworld.
Oh boy!
Oh, boy.
What a great game.
So, just first thing I want to mention is I'm pretty sure so far in Japan, Balan Wonderworld has sold around 2,000 copies.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh my god.
Yeah. This is one of those games that goes to show you, don't release a demo for your game if your game is terrible. Especially when you have people tricked by the first trailer who watch that and think, this looks great.
Yeah, look at me.
Yeah, and me.
Yeah. Because we all played the demo. And we can testify that this game
Sucks.
is,
And I played like
Goonies.
a wild level. I didn't just play the first level. I played like they had like later levels of the game. It gets slightly better, but it's still like mediocre as hell.
Yeah. This is one of those games that is just broken on a fundamental design level, where nothing in the game is technically wrong, but they just didn't really think anything through or made sure that it was fun when they were making the game.
Like, I feel like they just kind of threw, like, basic aspects of a...
Yeah, just basic aspects of game design, just threw it out the window.
And then just threw something together and said, here,
Yeah.
this is a game. we're gonna pay a lot of money to make a really good trailer, but that's it.
Yeah.
And the FMVs, man, those were like insane. Like
Yeah.
they have a different FMV for every hair color and skin tone and everything. It's insane.
Yeah. That's where all the budget went. But even still, it's like this game I feel like would be substantially better if they just did two very simple changes, which would be add a fucking jump button. Just add a dedicated jump button, so no matter what fucking ability you currently have, you can still jump. It's just a basic jump. And add a
like-
run button.
Like, I
So
don't know
that if
what
I want
the
to run, I can run and move faster.
what the fuck was this man's thinking making this game and having all 4 buttons be a...
He's had this idea for like decades.
It's
of,
not
like,
even just all the 4 face buttons. It's also the shoulder buttons. They do the same fucking thing too. Yeah.
Well, there is the shoulder button to switch your costume.
Yeah, but the
All
other
4 of
ones.
them.
The
Just
bumper,
jump.
the bumper buttons.
Oh.
Yeah, the bumpers.
Shoulder buttons, they do change your costumes, but the bumpers are still jump. So theoretically, you could play the game with just the left and right
I
joystick.
mean, a single button control scheme can be really cool. Like Kirby's Air Ride is single button, and that's awesome. But that's not a big 3D platformer. Like,
Yeah.
where I think half the fun of most 3D platformers is maneuverability. Like Mario 64 figured out you need a lot
But
of
the reason
fun
why
ways to move
Mario
around.
Odyssey is fun is because it's just fun to jump around and do all the crazy
Yeah.
hat tricks.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Picking up new power-ups on the fly is fun.
Yeah.
Like, you know how fast it takes for you to, like, capture an enemy in Mario Odyssey compared to putting on a costume or swapping costumes in Balan
No.
Wonderworld?
It's forever.
It takes so long. And, like, you have to swap in order to, like, just jump sometimes. Because, like, you'll get an ability that, like, you'll get a costume that's just has an attack, and the attacks almost always suck, too. And there's no point to even having them, because there's barely any enemies to fight anyway.
And I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
it's like
but the one power-up where you literally just turn into a box and just use your momentum to keep going, like, how useful is that?
box.
It is by far the worst power-up in a platformer ever. Because that power-up, what it does is that it will randomly turn you into a box sometimes, when it feels like it. And I don't know who made that power-up and thought that was an okay thing to do.
And whoever did that should be fired.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry to be harsh about it.
They probably are.
Fire.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you will forever be known as the guy who made the box trot or whatever.
Fox.
Fox box.
Is it? I thought it was Fox. Is it Box?
I have no idea.
I think they made that power up just because of the stupid pun.
He did.
That's the reason why they did it. Like,
Well-
if you had at least control over when you became a box, then maybe you'd be okay.
Yeah, turning into a box on command could be fun.
Yeah,
For
and
seconds.
useful if they actually had, like...
Like the game boasts, like in the trailer, that it's like, oh, it's got like 120 something different costumes and power ups, but like half of them do the same fucking thing.
Yeah,
or
they're all,
are,
like,
super redundant.
Variations on jumping, half of them.
Yeah. It's like, this guy jumps, but he does a spin attack along with it. Or it's like, this guy is a ground pound move, but this guy is another ground pound move. But it's even worse than the first one.
He does a barrel roll before he ground and pounds.
It's like, nah, this one just ground pounds. The other one does something and then ground pounds.
I think you can make a very easy game work for like just presentation or like charm alone. Like look at something like Kirby's Epic Yarn or like
The problem with this game isn't that it's easy. The problem with the game is that it's boring.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like that's half the reason it's boring is like you just play it, there's like nothing happens. Like so okay, it's super easy. But you could make an easy game and make it
say
good.
It's super easy. It's probably really frustrating and annoying trying to get all the collectibles.
Not
probably
that's
have
pretty
to
easy.
play levels with new power-ups that you collected and then going back to your previous
I
levels.
played some later levels and they're still pretty easy.
I mean, no, I mean, sure, I'm sure that actually playing through the game is stupid easy, but like, what I couldn't imagine 100%ing this game. It would probably be so fucking boring.
Yeah.
All right.
And like the presentation is just bizarre. Like,
Yeah, with
The-
like the characters that will like fade out of existence when you walk up to them.
or how the world warps around you in the first
Yeah,
level.
like
Like,
that's
what is
so
happening?
visually like jarring, and it's just like you look at it and it's like I can believe that like some people got fucking motion sickness from this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, do we want to move on from Balan Wonderworld?
Yes, I think that's about it for now.
Yeah.
What's the next thing we got? Oh,
Next topic is Mario.
Mario, he's
Anniversary
dead.
ending. Yes.
yeah.
Mario is
Sadness. Let's just start that off right off the bat. Sad.
I'm not sad, but I am fucking mad.
Yeah, it's just such a shitty business practice making.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not in the loop, which I'd be surprised if you are, but the 35th anniversary Mario 3D All Stars, you can't buy it anymore.
Yeah.
March
On top
31st.
of that, you also cannot buy the new. Well, I say new. It's the re-release of the first Fire Emblem game.
Yes, it's only English translation.
Yes, that ever happened, and now it is gone forever. Cause fuck you.
Yeah, I don't understand why a gaming company would do that, but at the same time, I can understand why they would do that just to make it a limited edition factor of things. But at the same time, fuck you.
Yeah, it's mostly there for the concept of FOMO, fear of missing out, so that it forces you. It will force your hand that if you're even slightly interested in this thing, you better fucking get it, or else you won't be able to.
Which I wish I heard about it because I would have bought it.
Yeah, because you just missed it.
Yeah, I just deliberately didn't hear about it. It's not even like I was pushing it off and just missed it because I was just like fucking being lazy and didn't want
Yeah.
and being stingy with money. Like I would have bought the 35th anniversary and that Fire Emblem game on the spot simply by the fact of that what you were saying, FOMO fear, the FOMO side of things.
Yeah.
Like it'd be so cool to own both copies of that, like the 35th anniversary and the only English translated Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
But now I'm SOL.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though, because you can just like emulate that shit, you know.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really shitty and obnoxious. And funnily enough, like a week after Mario 35 got pulled, because that's another thing that got fucking deleted, was Mario 35. You just can't play it anymore, the Mario Battle
I
Royale.
never got around to playing that, so that sucks.
I played it like once or twice, and I was like, eh. And they've already come out with a new Battle Royale, Pac-Man 99.
What?
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's Pac-Man against 99 other players. Whoever lasts the longest wins.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like it's just why get rid of certain IPs related to Mario? Like,
Money.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but like how?
In theory,
It's just
it's
a
not
sh-
even a good business practice because
it's a
if you
shitty
just
one.
keep it available to be bought longer, then more people will buy it.
Yeah, like the longer it's out, the more over time people are gonna buy it. Like I can understand if they had
Yeah.
these things out.
I mean, like, I bought this shit day one, and I was gonna buy it day one, whether or not it was a limited release or not. You know?
Exactly.
It's especially annoying because on top of that, these really weren't even it wasn't even a great collection. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sure, I mean, I bought it, but I'm sure a lot of people who bought it because of the FOMO wouldn't, because it wasn't that great of a collection. Like, Mario 64 wasn't even in widescreen. They didn't even do that.
Which I'll be honest, I'm fine with that. I prefer to
Yeah.
play most older games in the original aspect
It's-
ratio, but that's the end point.
Yeah, but it's also, like, annoying when you're trying to play it in handheld mode.
Yeah, the handheld it's been ugly, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Another thing that's getting shut down. Yes, Lucas, you can take it.
The PlayStation Store. Oh well, PSN for PS3 and PSP. Am I correct?
PSP, PS3,
Vita
and
and
PS
PSP.
Vita.
And PS Vita all are getting shut down. No longer gonna be able to buy anything on them.
Which the most shittiest thing to me is that the PlayStation Store is still around. They're just not going to list these games anymore.
Yeah.
Which
It's
makes
super...
no sense. Isn't it like over 2,000 titles or something?
Yes, there's 2,000 titles that are just going to be lost completely with this.
Which
yeah.
is just like a big.
This is
Go ahead.
the biggest fuck you in this is definitely the Vita store closing down, because there are still people developing like ports of games to the Vita.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And honestly,
were
I
still-
liked the Vita. It just came out at a
Yeah.
bad time.
Like, speaking of which, the store closing down actually, like, showed my hand to, like, hey, is there any games that I would actually want to buy on the Vita store? And I actually came to the realization of, yes, there is, which is Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 5. Because Final Fantasy 1 doesn't have a PC port. Final Fantasy 5's PC port is garbage.
There
I
you
think
go.
the PBA version of Final Fantasy was pretty good, though.
Yeah, but they have the PS1 versions of Final Fantasy 1 and 5 on the PS Vita store, because they have PlayStation 1 ports on the Vita.
Yeah.
And so I got those.
Well, there you go. I mean,
Yeah.
at least you got.
And now you can't buy them anymore very soon.
Yeah. And yeah.
Now you have them. You don't necessarily need to play them right away, but at least you know you have them before that whole store gets closed down.
I'm playing through. I've mentioned this multiple times already, but I am playing through Final Fantasy 1 right now, and then I plan to play through Final Fantasy 5. Because Final Fantasy 5 to me is that one game that I know I will love that I have not gotten around to playing yet. And
Yeah.
now I'm going to get around to it.
Yeah, it's crap. Like they just don't give a shit.
They really don't. Yeah, this is honestly a really shitty move by like Sony, and I can understand that, in theory they cannot keep these online stores open forever. Like, it's just not possible.
It's not costing them any more money because it uses the same storefront as PS4
Yeah,
and
like
Vita.
keeping this up is not actually costing them a lot of money. Like,
Yeah.
It's just they're just forcing people to go to new gen.
pretty
Which
much.
they tried to do before. Like they never released like any. They started the PS2 classics, and then like Sony of America like tried to like stop it because they were like, you just have like a backwards mentality of why would anyone want to play old games? It's like really bizarre.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense because that would just. You would want
Like-
people to play your older games because that would just show how much value that they
No,
hold.
they want you to buy their new consoles so you could give them tons of money.
Well,
Only.
Obviously, people would buy new
Man, I
consoles.
really wish that the PlayStation 5 store had all these ports that were on the Vita and PS3 that I could play them on my PS5. But,
Jeez, like-
they didn't bother making
They
it
were
backwards
like,
compatible.
20 games total for PS2 classics and PS4. They just like
Yeah.
complete like disregard for like just any of their previous consoles. It's bizarre.
With, this specific generation of gaming, the PS3, Xbox 360, and Wii, with the PS3 store coming to a close soon, now the only online store that's still up from that generation is going to be the Xbox.
Which I actually don't see going down for a while because I think they still have the original Xbox's online storefront. So
Yeah, I think Microsoft is much more aware that it's just like, we don't need to close these. It's not really
yeah,
costing us money to keep them open. In fact, I'm pretty sure it cost them a lot of money to shut them down.
Doesn't it
yeah,
cost more to shut those things down?
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not even sure exactly how all the money aspects of this works. If they're losing money keeping these stores open because it costs money to keep them open and people aren't buying stuff on them. But even still, it feels really too early.
yeah.
Especially for the Vita.
Yeah.
Like them closing down the Vita stores really fucked. And on top of this, there's also been reports of people not being able to download patches for their PS3 games.
Like already.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems it baffles me that going back to what you said about the whatever whoever was saying like why would anybody want to play older games like
It was, I believe it was the current head of Sony of America.
that makes no
Yeah.
sense like I can't even there's so many old games that I would play that not that aren't just on like PlayStation like there's so many older games that I would just love to replay and just have because they're older and you know like for instance I know it's a completely outland like left field but that Star Wars game that we always used to play that I would
Lego
The
Star
Lego
Wars.
Star Wars one?
yeah, like that was fun. Like it was. I wouldn't mind playing that randomly one day if I
Oh
had it
man.
just there.
You know what game that I would love to play again that I will probably never be able to play again because it'll never get ported and they're never gonna make a sequel? Fucking Fat Princess.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That shit is so fucking fun. It's like unironically one of the best games on the PS3. There's a reason why Fat Princess got into PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale and Crash didn't. It's because Fat Princess is better than Crash and Spyro combined.
Another game was the old school Guitar Hero games on Xbox. Like
Yeah.
I feel like they just kind of killed it with like killed the
I
whole
mean, I don't think you could buy those digitally anyway.
You
Because
can?
you need the peripherals for the most part.
Well,
I mean, you don't need
you'll
them,
need the
but
guitars and the drum sets and stuff, but I'm pretty sure you can buy a digital copy.
yeah. I think you could buy the copy
okay. I didn't know that.
because they released multiple like Guitar Hero games.
That's
Yeah.
true.
But like once you get onto the one that's the last one that was made for the 360, like the DJ one, it just completely shit on the whole like that game
No,
kind
we're
of.
getting really off topic now. Actually, I don't know where we are anymore.
Well, no, we're
Yeah.
just talking about how there's that the fact that the PlayStation Store is closing and we can't play certain titles now if
Yeah.
after it's closes.
I mean, like I said earlier, it's like I made sure to buy the Final Fantasy V PS1 port because even though it's not necessarily the best port of the game, I'm pretty sure the Game Boy Advance port is better. It's still better than the PC port, which is atrociously bad.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, now you won't have that option to just buy that version digitally. And it's like it's gonna raise prices of like PS3 games.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
it'd be a
And there's
freaking
lots
pain.
of digital only PS3 games that you'll just won't be able to play. Like
Oh man,
here.
it's so
There's
many games could get artificially raised too. Like think about it. Like,
yeah.
damn, getting people to play Metal Gear Solid's gonna be a pain now because like the best way to play that is the PS3. So now, telling people to
Yeah.
play that, the copies are gonna
It's very
skyrocket.
much like how Scott Pilgrim vs. the World got taken down from the store. Except this is on a much wider scale of 2,000 different games, and they're not coming back like Scott Pilgrim did.
I'm still shocked Scott Pilgrim came back.
Yeah. Super awesome.
That concludes our first episode of Substation Gaming Podcast.